Good morning, everyone. I love a packed house as well as David. Welcome to AEA's Convention and Trade Show. I want to thank David for his remarks. I also wish to thank Jim and Sylvia Jobert of Pacific Southwest Instruments, the sponsor of this morning's sessions. This session and the new product introductions following are being live streamed by Aero-News Network, so thank them for being on staff or here on site as well. I'm going to ask each of you to think back to this same time period about 6 years ago. It was 2009, and I was standing probably on this stage in this very same ballroom on April 2nd of that year, delivering the AEA's State of the Association address. And you may recall that several weeks prior to the convention that year, the leaders of automakers Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors had decided to take an individual ride on their individual Gulfstreams to Washington to visit Congress. On any other business trip, on any other day, that would have been perfectly acceptable. There's no one in this room that denies the fact that the use of a business aircraft is a very efficient business tool and mode of travel. Unfortunately, the three auto executives were going to Washington on that day with a tin cup in hand. They were asking for bailout money. And their mode of travel that day did not set well with Congress, nor with the White House. And if you'll recall, within a matter of days, our industry was being scorned by the general media for being those corporate jet fat cats, wealthy, no-good scoundrels who were portrayed as that elite 1% who spend their days sipping champagne at 40,000 feet. How dare any of us own or operate an aircraft for our business? By the time our convention approached several weeks later, airframe manufacturers were already suspending assembly lines, laying off thousands of workers, people losing their jobs in our own segment of the industry. Corporations were parking their business jets inside hangars and tightly locking the doors in fear of being ostracized for having the audacity to use their aircraft for business. I think you'll all recall it was an ugly period of time. U.S. banks were failing, the housing market was collapsing. Jack Pelton, who was then head of Cessna, was our keynote speaker that year. And even though Jack was presiding over some pretty turbulent times of his own back at his factory in Wichita, he forged ahead and he stood here on this very stage and he pledged that the general aviation industry would once again triumph. We just had to keep telling our story. Since 2009, our politicians here in the United States have become even more divided. Each party so intent on pushing the others down that none of them have really thought about how to pull our country back up. Eventually, and what is so typical and what I love so much about the general aviation industry is we decided to take matters into our own hands, and we rolled up our sleeves and we pulled ourselves back up. And every year since 2009, at a podium and on a stage and in a ballroom, very similar to this, you and I have rallied together, determined to continue taking pride in this industry and the products we create, the aircraft we produce, and the aircraft that most of you maintain. We discovered unique ways to keep working and creating new products, trying to overcome that negative press and promote our worth to our international economies. And I bet without a doubt that almost every one of you here in the room this morning has kept returning to AEA's annual event, determined to ride out this storm together. Ironically, today, 6 years later, none of those three auto executives are still at the helm of their respective companies. 2 were fired, 1 chose to leave. But all of us are still here. The last 6 to 7 years has been one of the longest and worst recessions in aviation's history. Yet at the same time, if you really think about it, think what has been accomplished during this period, both within our industry and throughout the world. In 2009, iPads were not even yet introduced. Yet today, more than 80% of us own a tablet, and in our segment of the industry, a lot of us are using them on a daily basis in aviation applications. I think it's fascinating to examine buzzwords, and who would have thought 6 years ago throughout the world, buzzwords like hashtag, tweet, FaceTime, selfie would become some of the most commonly used buzzwords around the world. In our own segment of the industry, the avionics industry, think of the technologies created since 2009 and are now common buzzwords and acronyms for us. A, D, S, and B, fans, connectivity, touchscreen, and UAVs. 6 years ago, when someone would speak of In and Out, I, for one, automatically assumed they were probably talking about the popular hamburger joint along the West Coast. But today in our industry, when we use the words in and out, we recognize that as a vital component of NextGen technology. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin to see a bit of smoother sailing ahead with more business opportunities for all of us in the industry, the AEA will continue to work right alongside you. The next 5 years are sure to be filled with many opportunities for each of you as we prepare for the ADS-B out mandate in 2020. But I say let's not fixate just on that magic number of 2020. Let's look beyond 2020 and examine our ways our industry can continue to grow and thrive and support general aviation, encouraging new pilot starts, continuing to advance avionics and airframe production, and working side by side with our regulators to continue streamlining regulatory oversight. It is a new day. It's a new environment. It's taken a while for me to stand up here and say that. But we, the association, have also rolled up our own sleeves, and we've invested plenty of blood, sweat, and tears too, trying to remain focused and stay invested in serving your needs. Whether that be expanding to more regions around the world, where today AEA membership is in more than 40 countries around this globe, offering you more training opportunities, whether it be at venues such as your annual convention and trade show, regional meetings around the world, online training, or training at our state-of-the-art classroom at our international headquarters offices, enhancing the regulatory representation not only within the United States, but in those regions around the world, and continuing to offer you products and services designed to enhance your businesses. And along the way, it's important for me personally to recognize not only the very talented AEA staff who work so hard for you, but also the countless number of volunteers who have served on AEA committees throughout the years, and a group of individuals who devote their time and their talents to guide and direct the future of this organization, that is your AEA Board of Directors. Please allow me to recognize and introduce to you as a group your AEA Board of Directors. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand to be recognized? Your Board of Directors. Thank you. Okay, so this year's convention theme is Network, Learn, and Grow. So imagine if with me, if you will, it's 6 years from now, it's 2021. Hopefully, fingers crossed, more than 100,000 general aviation airplanes will be equipped with ADS-B out technology and able to fly in our next generation aerospace. And while some of you will take a deep breath and may decide to take a very well-deserved vacation, and if you do, I hope it is on an amazing beach somewhere with a cocktail with an umbrella in it in hand. I predict the majority of you will be right back here at AEA's 2021 convention, networking, learning, and growing, and learning what our next decade will hold for us. But before we get there, let's focus this week on 2015. Network, learn, and grow. As David said, take advantage of these 4 days of technical training and workshops and business management topics, inspiring thought leaders, and that sold-out exhibit hall bursting at the seams with amazing technologies waiting to open up to you tomorrow morning. Network, learn, and grow. And most importantly, as Chairman Loso so eloquently spoke, renewing that connection between old friends and introducing yourself to new colleagues. Again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas, welcome to AEA's convention, and here's to a successful week ahead for all of us. Thank you so much.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 58th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Dallas, Texas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.
Now certified, Aspen Avionics single-band ADS-B, ATX100 and ATX100G transceivers are the next-gen ADS-B solution that provides the features pilots need while keeping flyaway costs low. Check it out now at aspenavionics.com.
Avidyne provides innovative avionics solutions for general aviation aircraft, including the IFD 540 and IFD 440 FMS GPS navcoms with geofill, hybrid touch, and full ADS-B capability.
The KSN 770 is an affordable, WAS-enabled integrated MFD with a flexible hybrid user interface from Bendix King. Get your fingers on the 770's perfect blend of touchscreen and hard buttons. Easily control your GPS navigation, navcom, weather, traffic, and terrain in any condition. For more information, go to bendixking.com.
The IntelliFlight 2100 digital flight control system is the perfect complement to today's integrated flight decks and is certified on the King Air and Conquest. It will now interface to a single EFIS and a mid-continent SAM 302 unit for a low-cost complete panel upgrade. Contact us at www.genesis-aerosystems.com.
An interactive links application is available in the Apple and Android app stores. This free app is a virtual simulation of the Lynx NGT 9000 touchscreen cockpit display that lets pilots interact with the unit as if they had a real system in their hands. The app covers the entire Lynx family of ADS-B products, including features and options to help customers decide which Lynx model is right for their needs.
True Blue Power Advanced Lithium-Ion Mainship batteries feature proprietary nanophosphate technology. They deliver 3 times the energy density and are more than 40% lighter than lead-acid or NiCad alternatives. RTCA tested, FAA certified, available to OEMs today. Navworks makes ADS-B affordable. Certified or experimental, Navworks gives you high-quality next-gen avionics solutions that dramatically increase your situational awareness. Check us out now on the web at www.navworks.com.
The debate is no longer about upgrading GA aircraft with NextGen, it's about financing it. The NextGen GA Fund is about doing just that. Find out more at www.nextgenfund.com.